Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. Today's topic is continuing this vein of mindfulness in poetry. Today, the poem that I've chosen isn't really a poem as much as it is a piece of prose. And what it is a bit of life advice. And it's interesting that I don't feel it flows really like a poem does, but I chose it just because I like what it says. I think it's good and interesting advice, and it's very clear the mindfulness aspect of this piece of writing. So I think sometimes I do a lot of intro before I read the poem, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm actually just going to go ahead and get right into it so that we can analyze it a bit farther. The name of the text is Desiderata. It's by Max Ehrmann, was written in 1927. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to your spirit. If you always compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter. For always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations, in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. So, I think what really strikes me in this poem is just there are a few pieces that really show us about mindfulness. One of them is here right at the beginning. Amid the noise and haste, remember what peace there may be in silence. And I think that's something that is useful to think about. That often we don't appreciate the silent times as much as we could, and there's so much to learn about ourselves in those times of silence. So this is maybe step one. Be yourself, do not feign affection. Take kindly the counsel of years. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. I think this is another piece that kind of shows up, is the piece of self-compassion and acceptance as well. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. And I think that's something that we kind of miss sometimes. Is something that we tend to miss is this kind of acceptance of the way things, accepting things how they are, and I think we see that things do unfold over time as they're going to, and often we try really hard to resist what it is that is happening and try to deny what's happening, and more of, can we go with the flow sometimes? Can we know what are the things that we can change and that we can have an effect on, and know the things that we don't have so much effect on? And is it possible for us to be able to go with the flow and to see the amount of suffering that we cause ourselves when we aren't going with the flow, and that when we're resisting what it is that is unfolding towards us and to us? And as well as, what I find interesting as well about this poem is there's a lot of different little pieces of advice in here. Take kindly the counsel of years gracefully. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. And so this is just kind of a line about impermanence. So seeing that things do change, and that as we grow older, I looked in the mirror yesterday, and my partner was next to me, and I've just kind of noticed the extra lines that I'm getting under my eyes, and kind of going, well, I'm getting old, and we all are getting old every day. Time goes in one direction. So, is it possible to kindly, gently, and gracefully surrender the things of youth, and to mature gracefully as well, not to try to hold on to youth. So yeah, and I think, I chose this poem just because I thought it's really different from some of the other things that I've read, and I guess it's not really even a poem. It's a lot of these little pieces of advice, and I thought that really there's some interesting wisdom in here, but it doesn't align it quite as clearly with with some of these other poems, and it feels more it feels like it's written by a man who wants to give advice. And I guess that's maybe my critique of the poem, of this piece of prose, is in mindfulness practice. That's one of the things that, and when we share together, one of the cautions that I kind of send out is, not to give advice. Is that we don't really know the situation of others, and I feel like this poem tends to be a lot more forceful in the way that it speaks than a lot of the other stuff that we've read. I mean, it's very direct, right? It's talking directly to you as the listener. You can see that the tone is it's basically in the imperative. This is like written in second person. Go placidly among the noise and the haste, and remember the peace there may be in silence. Speak quietly your truth. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. Enjoy your achievements, right? So it's that tone, I find it's a little bit harder to listen to and to read than some of the other poetry, that it's directly speaking to us as the reader. And I'd say that this is the one thing I can see. Like as I read it, I feel a little bit more uncomfortable, or a little bit less comfortable reading it than I have some of the other poetry. All right. Anyway, I'll get to the chat here soon, and let's let's chat about it more afterwards. But let's get into our meditation now. So I encourage you to get into a comfortable posture. So I encourage you to find a posture that's conducive to your meditation practice. One that combines relaxation with alertness. Seeing if you can find stillness. So if you have some desire to move your body, seeing if you can make a few movements here just to kind of get started, and see if you can settle into stillness. And so mindfulness is paying attention to what's happening right now and seeing if we can let go of judgment about it or be aware of the judgments we have about it. So can you begin to notice sensations in the body? Maybe air moving in the room that you're in, brushing across your skin. Can you feel the sensation of the cushion or chair pressing against your buttocks? Can you notice where that sensation begins and ends? And where the sensation of pressure ends, can you notice where your clothing is in contact with your body? So see if you can take your awareness of physical sensations and really turn up the dial, turn up the resolution to curiously examine the sensations in the body right now. See if you can scan up to the abdomen, to the torso, noticing the feeling of your clothing hanging on the body. And see if you can notice the changing of the body as you breathe. One, the changing of the shape. So as you inhale, the body expands. The abdomen goes outwards, making space for the air coming into the body. As you exhale, that abdominal wall comes back towards the spine. Air moves out through the larynx, through the nostrils. Can you feel these physical sensations as you breathe? And how about the subtlety of sounds? Sounds also happen in the present. So there are changes of pressure in the air. Sound waves hit the eardrum, absorbed by the nervous system, processed by the brain, turned into perhaps something familiar. Is it possible to observe this sound, all of the sounds in our soundscape? Knowing that they are present, that they happen now. They're here for an instant and then they're gone. So just listening, hearing, allowing the sound to fall on your ears. So the body is here. Physical sensations are here, happening in the present. Sounds arrive. Smells arrive. The five senses pick up information in the present moment environment. Can we use these five senses to ground us here and now? Observing everything that's happening in our physical bodies, in our awareness, right here, right now, in this moment. And also open the door to the thoughts. What thoughts go through your mind moment by moment? So not trying to think anything, not trying to change anything about this passive observation of the present. Staying focused on the body, staying focused on physical sensations, sounds, tastes, smells, and seeing what is happening in the mind. Where is the mind going? What thoughts may be present? And see if you can observe them just like you would be observing one of your five senses. The thought is here, stays for a moment, and then it's gone. So now I'd like to invite you to let go of observing thoughts. See if you can bring your mind back to the body. So seeing if you can as well let go of sounds. And then letting go of sensations in the head, in the shoulders, in the feet, in the legs. So just letting go of all of these sensations and coming back to the feeling in the abdomen. The feeling of the abdomen moving gently with the breath, and seeing if you can concentrate your attention on this rising and falling of the abdomen as you breathe. And now it's time to draw our practice to its close. So I'll ring the bell 3 times. At the end of the sound of the bell, feel free to open your eyes if they were closed and move around in any way you like. Right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for sharing this time with me, and for kind of walking through this poem. So thanks everybody for your comments. Rachel says, sounds like striving for perfection. It's all very well to me, but I would have been able to achieve those. I would have been able to achieve those ideas. Maybe she means wouldn't have been able to. Micah says, beautiful piece, lots of wisdoms enfolded. Sybil says, being quiet, especially in a natural setting, is so beautiful. Thanks for sharing. Sinus says, love this poem too. I have it on my wall next to my bed. When I'm having an especially tough time, I just read it, or just certain parts, and it helps me out things in perspective. Micah says, I don't read it as a directive, but as the loving advice a friend would give you who wants the best for you. Thanks. Thank you, Micah. Hi, Clive. Welcome. Hope you're having a great evening so far. Hi, Siffy. Great to see you here today. Let's see. Spell the name of the poem? Sure. Here it is. And it's funny. I think I'll comment on this poem. When I prepared and I read it, it felt really different than reading it live with you guys. That I think when I first read it, I think it was the way the words hit me was really different from how it was today when I read it. That I just didn't have the same maybe I'm used to Mary Oliver poems or something, and going through poetry having a really strong visceral effect. And I have to say, as I went through this poem today, although the words are wise, and I think there's a lot of good wisdom here, it didn't have the same effect on me as the other poems that I've read. And I think that's interesting too. Well, like what was my expectation? To see that and to see what I'm used to and how that affects how I feel about it, and then the affecting of the commentary about it as well. So it's really kind of interesting to see that happen. Just for anyone who's come in late, I'm going to read the poem one more time. In fact, is it a poem? That's the other thing. It's more of a piece of prose than it is a poem. So you can hear it once again before we go. Clive says, I've tried to live my life in accordance with this poem. It resonated with me in my 20s, which was a long time ago. Thanks, Clive. Thanks for sharing. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to your spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations. In the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. All right, thanks for joining me today. I think that's it. That's it for today's practice. I want to share with you as well that we've got a little bit more poetry coming in. I'm trying to stay more in the realm of kind of the philosophical. There are a few poems that are. I know Sybil has said, relishing being outdoors and how mindful that feels sometimes. And there are some poems that I've kind of wanted to go through a little bit that show that, but I've stayed more on the philosophical. So we're going to be doing "If You Knew" by Ellen Bass on Thursday. And then one more poem, the poem "Kindness" by Naomi Shihab Nye. And I think these are, as we move into this realm of poems, they're not the same kind of poems that I've been reading originally earlier last week. So hope that you'll come back and we can chat through those. And thanks everybody for your interaction today. I really appreciate how much action there is in the chat, because I always do like to talk about this. I like to have that interaction. Really makes this time rich. So, okay, I'm going to head off. So do take care, everyone, and let's close our practice the way that we do, with some well wishes to ourselves and to others. So follow along with me if you like. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone here, watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all sentient life in the universe, wherever it may be, I wish all of us happiness and peace. All right, thanks everybody. As a reminder, join Ryan's Daily Mindfulness Circle on Insight Timer groups for additional sharing and meditations. So there's more in there. And I always record these live practices. So if you miss anything, you want to go back, you want to see some of the other practices, those are available. So check them out. See you next time. Bye-bye.